everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I decided to do a Meghan Markle inspired wedding makeup look. So I know her wedding was the biggest thing of the weekend, probably the biggest wedding of the year, probably the next 10 years. So I thought she looked absolutely beautiful. I know there was controversy around her dress and how simple she looked, but I think that simple is always better. So this is my take on the look that she did for her wedding day. So if you like this and you want to see more, continue watching, leave a comment below, and most importantly, subscribe. Let's get started. So the first thing I noticed about Meghan Markle's makeup for her wedding ceremony was that it was super light on the skin. So she didn't have a ton of foundation. Her skin was super healthy. So I'm going to use Dr. Jart's Water Drop Moisturizer. And I'm going to take a little bit on my hand and just place it with my fingers into my skin. So I also have underneath this some Serum On by Laneige and Water Essence. And for foundation, I'm going to use Face and Body by MAC. My color is probably C2. This is C1, so I'm going to mix a little bit of C4 in it as well. And she just has such sheer coverage on her wedding day. You can see her freckles. You can see her actual skin through it, which I think if you have really great skin already, I think is perfect. I'm not a big foundation wearer. I always like a bit of sheerness, and even when I do my own brides, I always tell them less is more. But if you do prefer like a fuller coverage makeup, that's totally fine too. Remember, it is your day. So whatever you want to do. And so I'm using a stippling brush just to kind of pat it into the skin. And I took very little product. So Face and Body is quite sheer. It's like very watery feeling too, which I really like, so it doesn't feel heavy on the skin. Next for concealer, I'm going to use the NARS Matte Complete. I'm just gonna take a little bit of my ring finger and just go right under my eye here, using my finger. I'm also gonna go around my nose and around my mouth where I have a little bit of blemishes. So now that my foundation and concealer are done, I'm going to go in with Anastasia Brow Wiz in medium brown, and I'm going to do my brows. So she had, she didn't have an overly dramatic brow, but it was filled in quite a bit. She didn't over draw her brow or anything, so we're going to stick with what she did too. So now that my brows are done, I'm going to go in and do eyeshadow. So I'm going to use the Prep and Prime 24-Hour Eye Extend by MAC. I believe her original artist for her look, Daniel Martin, used all Dior. I'm not sure what products he would have used, but we're going to just make do with what I got. So just putting a little bit of this primer on my lid. Now looking at her makeup, she doesn't use a ton of shiny colors or shimmery colors. Actually, I don't think any of those colors have any sort of shine to them, so we're going to stick with all mattes today. The first color I'm going to use is, what is this? Oh my god, I don't know. It's on the tip of my tongue, I can see it. Oh, it's Brulee. So Brulee by MAC. Taking a small little shader brush. I'm going to go right underneath that brow. She doesn't have a ton of makeup on, period, so I want to make sure we're not going overboard. The next color I'm going to use is Saddle by MAC, so it's like this mid-tone brown. I'm going to take it on this Morphe M209 brush, so it's just like a bigger stippling or a bigger shader brush. And I'm going to put this all over my lid. So I would consider her to have like a daytime smoky eye. She does tend to use darker colors. It works for her skin tone and for her eye shape. So as you can see, I'm not going above and beyond my natural crease because she didn't either. We just want to keep it right on the lid. And then I'm smoothing it out with my fingers just so that I get an extra, just so like there's no harsh lines, like there's no like pore blending. The next color I'm going to use is Embark by MAC. And very softly, I'm going to go along the lash line. And I'm going to bring it up over what we just did. Now I'm going to go back in with Brulee again. I'm going to use a pencil brush. And I'm going to go right in the inner corner. And right kind of on this first little quarter of the lid. I'm going to take this small little shader brush again. I'm going to go in with Embark, that dark brown color. I'm going to softly, softly, softly go right underneath the lower part of my lid. And then buff it out with my finger. So for eyeliner, I'm going to use NYX Black Liner. I'm going to just do a really thin line on the upper lid. We're not going to create a wing or anything like that. And for my waterline, I'm going to use Costa Riche pencil by MAC. So I think she had more of like a dark brown as opposed to a black in her waterline. Gonna curl the lashes. So I just put the Extended Play Mascara on by MAC. I use this because looking at the photos, her lashes are very defined. They're not bulky or bunchy or too overly dramatic. So these ones have, this mascara has a really nice teeny tiny brush that'll get those lashes all nice and separated and look very long. I'm going to use lashes. She definitely used lashes as well. My guess is that hers are individual lashes, but I'm going to use these ones by Ardell. They are the Demi Wispies. So looking at the foundation, I love the coverage. It's very similar to what she had. It's just, I think it's a little light for me right now, so I'm going to go in with just a little bit of a darker one. And just go over it a little bit. I'm just adding a little bit of C4 face and body on top. I'm not going to powder this down because I don't think she had any. She didn't have any contouring, but she did have like a slight bit of bronze to her. So I'm not sure if that's just like naturally how her skin is, like if she just has like that kind of sun-kissed look naturally. But I'm going to add just a teeny little bit of bronzer to the cheeks. This is the Kat Von D palette. I'm using the middle shade. Go underneath here. She also had some nose contouring as well, so I'm going to go in with this shade here from the Kat Von D palette. I'm using this sort of angled brush, not angled, but just like a teeny tiny shader brush. Go right down the sides of the nose, just very lightly. Like that. I'm going to use for blush NARS Orgasm in the liquid form. I'm going to take just a teeny little bit on my fingers. And I'm going to just pack it on the apples of the cheeks. And I think she had a little bit of highlighter down her nose. Just a teeny little bit. Nothing like Instagram-y or anything like that. Just really subtly. I don't think she had any on her cheeks though. And for the lip, the picture that I'm looking at is more peachy, although there's some pictures where it's more pink. So I'm going to use peachy as my inspiration. So I'm going to use Biscayne Park Satin Lip Pencil by NARS. Looks like this. I'm gonna lightly dot this in. I'm not going to do liner or gloss or anything like that because I think it was very natural what how her lips looked. So there you go, the final look is complete. I really hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope that this is kind of like what you thought that her makeup looked like as well. I think it was amazing that she did something so simple for such a grandiose wedding. So she had like millions of people watching. So, and this will go down in history. So if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Leave a comment below. Let me know how you like the makeup, how you like the dress, how you liked her hair, or just any other thoughts on the royal wedding. I'm a huge fan of Meghan Markle. I was a huge suit fan, and she was my favorite character on it. So it's so exciting to see her go from that actress living in Toronto to being a royal now. So leave a comment on this video, give it a big thumbs up, and most importantly, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.
It started when you said hello, just did something to me, and I've been in a